Hey gamers, today we're going to be reviewing the KKUOD Dual Bluetooth Wireless Trackball Mouse. Stay tuned. It's been a while since I've gone out of my way to purchase a new mouse, but this wrist pain from working on my computer is starting to get more noticeable. I looked into mouse pads with a knob near the wrist as a comfort design. I thought, this is a great idea. I won't have to purchase and get used to a new mouse. Not like it was all that big of a deal, but hey, would have saved some cash, right? Well, then I went to work to find various websites that talked about the pros and cons of working with standard computer mice and found some very interesting information. See, for me it seems that I regularly catch myself letting my wrist lay on the desk and wiggle the mouse around. Apparently, this is bad. So I tried floating my wrist above my desk slightly and well, this was just uncomfortable for the most part. Come to find out that my idea of actually trying to utilize a mouse pad with wrist support was just as bad an idea as wiggling my mouse with my wrist on the desk. So what the heck should I do? I started looking at various mice online and the thought just popped into my head. A thumball mouse! I went to work looking for one of these devices I didn't even believe existed, and to my surprise, not only did they exist, but they were ergonomic. So I was moments away from clicking the buy button when I thought, wait, could these be worse for my wrists? Then, after a fast search, there was this Redditor talking about some syndrome called tenosynovitis. I looked it up and well, honestly, I feel like my left hand already was getting this tenosynovitis, but I never used a thumball mouse with it, nor is it my dominant hand. So off I went to purchase this, what seemed like, decently priced mouse on Amazon, not the cheapest and definitely not the priciest. Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to the massive title, I just bought it. Once it arrived, I then discovered that this was not only a wireless mouse with a USB adapter, it was Bluetooth. Since my gaming desktop doesn't have anything Bluetooth installed on it, nor do I have a USB Bluetooth adapter, this feature was null for that machine. After playing around with it, it seemed extremely comfortable in comparison to the Logitech M705 mouse I had before. I had started playing The Sims with this mouse and almost decided to stop using my old PlayStation controller with my PC. That's how awesome this mouse felt. Honestly, when I had bought this mouse, I really didn't have gaming in mind. I just wanted to be comfortable whenever I was working on my computer. But this mouse honestly changed that perspective for me. So let's get into the mouse itself. The packaging came with a USB 3 cable, the USB adapter for the mouse, and the mouse itself. Oddly enough, even though I had never used a thumball mouse before, it felt so familiar. I guess you could say it resembled moving my thumb around on my iPhone screen a lot more than I would have realized. It sits in place really sturdy. Transitioning from a laser mouse to this, I had several times where I caught myself trying to move the entire mouse by instinct. But the really firm grip the mouse has to the mouse pad reminded me very quickly that I didn't need to move it anymore. With a very well-balanced weight of 8.1 ounces or right over half a pound, this mouse lends most of its ability to grip into a surface due to its weight. While it was twice as heavy as the mouse it was replacing, this was an absolute great thing working in this mouse's favor. On the bottom there are 3 major rubber pads with one minor pad near the thumb. As mentioned before, though it's twice as heavy as many traditional mice, this weight really helps this thing grip the surface it sits on. The thumball's placement was very well thought out. When laying your hand on the mouse, it just contours to the device with ease, almost as if the mouse came to your hand instead of vice versa. It's a very curious feeling to try to describe. Usually, many ergonomic devices, in my opinion, don't seem to, I guess you could say, mesh with your body well. But I have to give it to this mouse, it really accomplishes this almost perfectly. At the front of the mouse, there's a USB 3 port. For those of you with newer Android devices, you probably have plenty of these cables handy. This makes charging this mouse a breeze. It's also extremely nice since this mouse doesn't have to be moved across a mousepad or the desktop. Definitely better thought out than the Apple Magic Mouse, am I right? While charged, the mouse will last several days. Using the device doesn't require you to download any drivers. It's very much plug and play. It just requires you to tap a button once you connect the USB adapter into a new machine. Since I use this with my gaming machine in the living room, I tend to be far away from the TV, usually around 10 feet or 3 meters or so. The connectivity to the USB adapter is great until not being charged on about the third day of using it. I'll notice that the mouse movements become glitchy on screen until I scoot the mouse a little closer to the tower, then it clears up. So if you happen to be far away from a screen consistently, you'll notice lag and or glitching in the mouse movement if it's not pretty regularly charged. This mouse actively supports 2 modes of connectivity as far as I've seen. It connects to Bluetooth as well as the USB adapter wirelessly. It can pair to multiple devices, but more on that here in a bit. On the device, there are your traditional buttons and scroll wheel. These work as you would expect. Even clicking the scroll button down to scroll using the vertical scroll arrows works like a charm. There are a few extra buttons on this mouse though. On the far left, there are 2 buttons. As shown here, these work well in web browsers for page back and page forward buttons. Pressing the down button goes to the previous page, while pressing the up button goes forward a page if you've gone back a page or so. These buttons aren't really in the most comfortable position, so if you're navigating pages back and forth, you'll probably need to readjust your grip for these to be effective for you. Next is the DPI button. To break it down, there are what I see as 3 modes on this mouse: slow, medium, and fast. If you see that your mouse cursor is moving too slow or fast, adjusting the speed by tapping this DPI button will most likely allow you to find your sweet spot for your computer. Last is the curly arrow button. This button allows you to change connection modes from the mouse. When mode 1 is selected, the mouse connects to the USB adapter provided. When mode 2 is selected, the mouse can then be paired with the device. Simply hold the arrows button until the 2 in the circle starts to blink rapidly. This puts the mouse into pairing mode for the first device. When mode 3 is selected, the mouse can then be paired with a different device. The same rules apply here. Simply hold the arrows button to set the mouse into pairing mode for the second device. Now you can switch between modes 2 for one machine and mode 3 for another. Cleaning the mouse regularly is pretty necessary. I would say that I need to clean mine for pretty heavy use at least once every day or 2. Whenever the mouse needs cleaning, you'll start to feel that the ball isn't quite gliding nearly as well as it used to. And cleaning this thing is super easy if you use these steps. Pop the ball mouse out. Wrap the ball in a thin cloth or a dried slightly wet wipe. Tissue paper, paper towels, or toilet paper are simply too brittle to clean the insides and just results in tearing the tissue. Push the ball back into the mouse and rotate the cloth or wipe in various directions. Pull the wipe or cloth out of the mouse and examine the body soil that came out of the mouse. Ew. If you notice the surface of your mouse ball has some film on it, or if the mouse still has some drag whenever you move the ball after putting it back in, take the ball and wipe it down with a damp cloth, dry it off, and then put it back in the mouse. This should result in the smooth sliding the mouse ball had when you originally bought it. And there you have it. An accidentally good to game with mouse that helps keep your wrists from getting damaged. Even if you don't happen to have wrist pains or problems with moving your mouse, it would definitely be a great item to add to your inventory to keep your hands from getting damaged while possibly working from home from 8 to 5. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please give the video a thumbs up if you got something valuable from the video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and other stuff like The Sims and Minecraft.